And Oregon, at least as a state, is on a shelter in place order.
Okay.
So we're not allowed to leave the house technically, but
yeah, I know how that is.
yeah, it's crazy over there
All
too.
too well. We're on
Yeah.
day 16,
Oh my
which is
gosh.
really day 18 because we started as our family. We kept our kids home 2 days early because we kind of saw what was coming, and it had already started in Madrid. And
Wow.
and so we just said, okay. So like our kids literally have my daughter went and walked the dog the other night. Like they both have walked the dog once just around the block, but
Uh-huh.
that's all they've been out of our apartment for
Wow.
18 days. So,
Have people around you guys been sick and had it?
well, so yeah, so there's quite a few, of friends, our good friend's mother got it and died,
Oh my gosh,
2
I'm so
days ago.
sorry.
So yeah, no,
Oh gosh.
she, just the sweetest woman, like lovely. She even, our friend Susie sent us a video of her clapping at 8 o'clock for all the medical workers, like 5 or 6 days ago. And then a couple of days ago, she started feeling sick, and then just went in the morning and was gone in the afternoon. It was crazy.
Wow. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
so
pretty,
sad.
it's very serious over here.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I keep seeing these posts from all these people, like friends in California, and they're just like there are people are out at like
Yeah.
farmers markets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, what are you doing? Like,
Exactly.
get inside.
Yeah. I think we're definitely slower over here. I think it might start to be kicking in. I don't know. But as far as
Believe me, when it kicks in. I saw someone post something from LA. We used to live in LA, so we have a lot of friends there. And they're like, oh, New York's really bad, but we're okay. And Catalonia is like it's kind of like our county here, in Barcelona. And we were at 120 cases, 2 weeks ago. And now we're well over 15,000 just in our county.
Yeah.
And so Spain has about the population of California. And so I think 860 some odd people died just in the last 24 hours. So people have no idea what's coming. Like it's going to get, I mean, not to be doom and gloom, but it will be, I think it's going to get a heck of a lot worse before it gets better, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's brutal, but you're staying positive and helping the community.
Yeah. Trying to, right.
Yeah.
So the whole thing started the first night that we were officially on lockdown. So this would be 16 nights ago. People just came out, and it was all organized that the whole country would come out and applaud all of the medical workers and everything else, and just to show appreciation for all the people out on the front line doing the things that all the necessary jobs and whatnot. And there's another ambulance outside. It's amazing how many ambulance sirens we hear every day. So we're out there applauding for them. And there's even been times when we've actually been out applauding on the balconies, and an ambulance comes by and everybody cheers for the ambulance. Like, which is cool. It's everybody appreciates what they're doing. And so the first night, everybody was out and just kind of got caught up in the moment. And, being a singer, I just kind of sang a couple of notes, and just to kind of pick everybody up a little bit. And people really responded to it. And so I talked to my wife about it. The next day, we're like, well, maybe I'll sing like half a song. So I just sang the first verse and chorus to O Sole Mio and hit the high note at the end. And again, people responded. And so I'm like, well, if people like it and it's making people happy, then we're just going to keep going with this. And so now we're on night 16. And so every night we go out, we go out and applaud for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then when the applause kind of dies down, I just go out on the balcony, and I've got speakers that I bring out on the balcony with me. At first, I just had like a little speaker that I'd put between my legs. And then I started to get really into it. I've like completely dismantled all of my of my entertainment system for my TV, and I've moved the whole sound system over to the balcony. My wife was just looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Come on! Like this little speaker's not enough. We got to get proper sound here." So so that's where we are now.
Yeah. So how did you get involved in music years and years ago?
So, so I was playing football at the time, and it was in high school, and I started to get into theater and actually did a few musicals and things. But it really was when I was a senior in high school. I was at a friend's party late night. Everybody had gone home, and the 6-disc CD changer. I don't know if you remember those.
I do, actually.
You do? Okay, cool. All right, good. So the kids' kind of CDs had run their course, and so then the parent CDs came on, and it was Luciano Pavarotti's greatest hits, and this came on, and I just had this just this reaction to it, and it was like the room melted away, and I just got lost in the music. And kind of once I came out of it, I'm just like, well, what is this music? And my friend just said, well, it's opera. I said, oh, okay. Can I borrow this CD? And she was like, sure. And still to this day, I have it.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
In fact, I ran into her at my 20th or 25th high school reunion or whatever. She didn't even know the story. She had no idea that that's where it had started. And she goes, well, listen, I said, yeah, I should probably get that back to you. She said, no, you can keep it. So, all right, good, fantastic. So then I just drove around and through high school and college, driving around, at ASU, down Middle Avenue, University, rural, just listening to these songs and singing along with them. And the guys on the football team picked up on it. So at some point, somebody commented on one of the posts, this reminds me of being in the showers. And I don't really remember singing in the showers at ASU. But I do remember there was one night though that when we clinched the Rose Bowl, I remember singing in the showers, and it was, if it was in the scene was in the movie, you wouldn't believe it. Like, it was ridiculous. I mean, it would be the corniest movie scene ever, but it actually happened. So then I think the first time I ever sang publicly was when we went to the Rose Bowl. I think it was Wednesday practice. Coach Snyder said to us, hey, we're going to Universal Studios tomorrow, and there's going to be a talent show. And so, I mean, like, no warning whatsoever, right? Like, they tell us the night before that we're going to have a talent show the next day. So he's like, he kind of just kind of like shrugging it off, said, well, if you guys want to go out and you want to do this, that, the other, like, do whatever you guys want. Whoever wants to do it, go for it. So 19-year-old me starts thinking it's a great idea that I'm going to sing opera for the talent show. And, I don't even have sheet music for this stuff. Like, all I had was the little leaflet inside the CD that had all of the Italian. It had the Italian and it had the English. And that was it. And so I went and I sang an aria called Vesti la Giubba, or Ridi Pagliacci. It's the famous one, like, Laugh, Clown, Laugh. It's like the most tragic sounding song you've ever heard in the world. And why I picked that, I have no idea, but I just really liked it. I had no idea that, you're not really even supposed to attempt to sing that until you're well into your 40s. But there I was, a 19-year-old kid who didn't even know any better. So I just went and sang it. So that's how it started. And then really after I left ASU, I actually transferred out of ASU and I graduated from Santa Clara. So long story of, my friend was killed in a car wreck 2 weeks after the Rose Bowl. And I just kind of lost interest in everything. And I walked away from football, walked away from ASU, and then went to Santa Clara, and then came to Europe for a 2-month trip by myself. Oh. And that's when came to Barcelona and was here for a month of that trip. And that's because I met my wife at a club at 2:00 in the morning. We were introduced to each other because we both spoke English. So, but that paid off. So we've been together now for 18 years and have 2 daughters, and are now here living in Barcelona. And that's why we moved back here, because this is where we met.
Yeah. Yeah. That segues perfectly into one of the questions here. What has the experience with quarantine been like for your family, and how have you guys managed throughout this time, and how has the singing impacted your family?
Well, we've handled it pretty well, I think, especially our daughters. Their school's pretty advanced, and so you read about all these parents kind of pulling their hair out about this whole homeschooling thing. Thankfully, most of their their classes, actually, their teachers are online, and they take all their classes through their iPad and everything else. So we've been lucky that it really hasn't affected us too bad. It's weird though. It's so weird. It's like being in a movie. My wife and I talk about it all the time. It's like being in a movie, but it's reality. So it's not a movie, but it feels like a movie. And, you walk down Barcelona. I don't know if you've been to Barcelona, but it's a very busy city. There's people, it's all about the restaurants and the cafes and people sitting outside on the sidewalks and it's a very social city. It's like when everybody gets out of work, everybody meets up and has a drink somewhere or whatever, and people eat dinner late here. They don't really go to dinner until, you can get turned away from restaurants at 8:30 because you're there too early. So, and you go out, especially during the weekend. This past weekend, I took the dog out for a walk the other night on Friday night. And there's nothing, and it's just weird, but people are managing, they're very resilient here. There's really a feeling of community here. And that's great, and so as far as the singing aspect, and, I'm just trying to do my part. I can't really do anything else to help. And so if this kind of makes everybody forget about what's going on, even if just for a couple of minutes, then I'm happy to do that. And actually, if anything, it's probably good for me because it gives me something to do and to focus on, and the problem I'm coming up with now is that, this is night 16, right? And I've only got such a repertoire. And the problem is that so much of the opera repertoire is like, you need, like the way it works in opera is, and pretty much all theater, is that you either have love and hope or you have total death and everyone dies, right? And it's super tragic. So you have the comedy love aspect, or you have the tragedy. Well, I don't want to do the tragedy aspect because it's already bad enough. Yeah. I'm trying to I'm trying to sing like all the really uplifting, like, oh, remember hope and love. And so basically that takes away half of my repertoire. So I'm just trying to learn new stuff now. Mm-hmm. My wife and I have been looking for new songs, things that I've always wanted to do. Like last night I did a song that I've always wanted to do and never had sung before. So I sung that for the first time ever. Live in front of everyone and on video, then it's going on the internet, whatever. But, I don't care. It's not about me. It's about, I don't care if I screw up. I don't care if I say the words wrong, like whatever. I'm just here to just try to entertain people and keep people's spirits up.
Yeah. So what has it been like for you and your family to become such a viral sensation?
It's really weird. Because this was not, the thought of any of this there wasn't even a thought of any of this. Like, we just posted we didn't even post a video until like the 4th night. And we're just shocked by the way people responded to it. And a gal from my hometown who's quite an Instagrammer, she posted it. And I think the last time I checked, it was over 100,000 views. And the comments on it were crazy. You know, it's not like super viral or, you know, whatever, but it was the comment section that got me. And a lot of people talking about how, you know, a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are freaked out. They don't really know what's going on. And, you know, I understand that. And most of the comments, kind of in a nutshell, were along the lines of, I haven't cried since the beginning of this, but that made me cry, and in a good way, you know, like I needed that. I needed to have a release or something. And so that's what got me. I think there was like 600 comments or something like that. And from all over the place, like from Australia to Canada to, you know, all throughout Europe and States, you know, just, and then I was just shocked at the way that the Arizona community responded, you know, which is so cool. And so, yeah, it's been, you know, and the funny thing has kind of been, you couldn't write it, but of course the time that, you know, I'm having conversations on video is when I haven't been out of the house for 2 weeks and I can't go get a haircut, or I can't do, you know what I mean? I haven't been to the gym in 2 weeks. I mean, we've been trying to do our own stuff in the house, and we walk up and down we live on the 7th floor. So we've just been walking up and down the stairs to try to like do some exercise. You know, but it's, I don't know, life's funny like that. You know, it's like the time that people want to have you on camera is the time that I haven't been out of the house
right
over 2.5 weeks. It's like awesome, fantastic, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Okay, and then my last question for you is, how did your time at ASU help shape you personally, and what were some of your most vivid memories there, and with what people, teammates throughout your time?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, well, as you probably well know, we had a lot of characters on that team. I mean, first of all, I just, going to ASU, like looking back, I just think how lucky I was to end up there and at that time, and to be a part of that group. It was unbelievably fortunate, and it's just such a great community, and it's all about the guys. You know, I mean, we all call each other brother, and we are. And I know that no matter what, no matter where I am, you know, if here I am living in Spain, and if I needed help, I could call up 20 guys right now that I can think of off the top of my head, and they'd come running. And I would do the same for them. And it's so fantastic to get back together. And you know, the crazy thing is that we talk about, I was just talking to Jake Plummer a couple days ago, and who's my roommate. And so we were talking about how great it is when we get together and how much fun we have. And the fact that, you know, it's funny, we never really talk about what happened on the field. It's all about the stuff off the field, you know. It's all about the relationships. I mean, guys that I was lucky enough to call friends and brothers, you know, Jake Plummer, Keith Poole, Juan Roque, Kyle Murphy, Pat Tillman was a really good friend of mine. You know, I remember having an amazing talk about life with Pat, and to have what's happened with him, you know, and you know, that he has a statue of him, you know, as the players walk out in the field, it just blows my mind, you know. And for me to be a part of it still, and, you know, just the Go Devils Go thing that plays in the stadium, the fact that I get, you know, my brother texted me, he was watching the game in the States. It's tough for me to watch games because the night games, because it's like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning here. So sometimes I'm either listening to him in my bed with headphones on, you know, and pure darkness, listening to the radio call or something, listening to Healy and Van Raphorst and those guys. And, but my brother texted me. He's just like, I was just watching the ASU game, and he goes, I just heard your thing out in the stadium. It's just like, it's crazy, and it is crazy, but it makes me happy to be a part of it. And again, I just feel so fortunate to have been a part of it, and to still be a part of it in any way that I can. I love going back. I say to all the guys, I'm like, you know what? In my opinion, we win the national championship every year because we get to come back to Tempe to watch games. We're not going and sitting in freezing cold in the Big Ten or whatever. We're not up in East Lansing in Michigan, freezing, watching Michigan, Ohio State. It's like we're sitting outside drinking beer, getting ready for the game in 75-degree weather in the end of November. So I love being a part of it, and just glad I can still be a part of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Good luck with tonight's performance.
Thanks. No, I know it's interesting because there's some raindrops out there. I know I'm going to end up with an umbrella one of these nights, but it looks like there's some sun peeking through.
Yeah.
And then I've got my cat over there looking at me going, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Anyway, so well, look, I really appreciate it. Thanks very much, and stay safe there in Oregon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Stay inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
And all the best, and to your family, and lots of health.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
All right. Take care.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.